Hey guys, Andrew here with Nashville Severe Weather. We have a pretty serious situation going on out there right now in southern Davidson County and northern Williamson County, and part of it involves a severe thunderstorm warning. New severe thunderstorm warning for this storm that's in southern Davidson County and northern Williamson County. This is until 12:15 a.m., so that's for 30 minutes for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. So there could be some strong straight-line winds with this, as we're already seeing just north of Brentwood here on the radar, some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts reported there by the radar, and that's up at about 900 feet. So that's not that high up. But guys, we got just a serious situation with the flash flooding out there, and it's becoming an increasing threat. And we're seeing water rescues now in several areas around South Nashville and northern Williamson County. And so our fears are kind of realized with the flash flood threat that we were sort of anticipating might happen. We're going to go back over to a camera that we were at earlier, and this is the camera there at Franklin Road, Maryland Way, and Church Street there in Brentwood. So that's a camera there, and it shows some of those strong winds that are coming in there. We also have the Oak Hill camera over here, which is a little bit closer to where those strong winds are, and we're going to keep this up and show it here for the next few minutes. But this is a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect here until 12:15. But let me go ahead and say, I just feel like I need to say this. If you're in an area that is flood prone, and this is separate from the severe thunderstorm warning, but if you're in an area that is flood prone, and you really need to get out of there, and you need to not be in an area that is flood prone right now. But be, if you're gonna move anywhere, you got to do it before the water comes up. You don't need to drive through water to get out of water. Do you know what I mean? So just exercise caution. Be in a place where you feel safe as far as the flash flooding goes. But really a serious situation there on the north side of Williamson County, south side of Davidson County, as the waters continue to rise in the creeks and streams. Just pouring rain, and we've just seen these driving rains there in Brentwood now for a while, and it's really no good. So looking back over here at the Oak Hill camera, really a strong gust of wind very close to this camera. I mean, as close as right across the street, according to the radar. So it looks kind of close, but so strong gusty winds possible there in Oak Hill, as water rescues are ongoing in a few places around right near, not too far from this camera, and as some creeks come up. Let me just call out a couple of creeks. 7 Mile Creek over there along Edmondson Pike, it's going up very quickly on the gauge there at Blackman Road, and is well into flood stage there at Blackman Road at this point. And so that's one area that kind of can tend to flood over in this in the general area of this camera and kind of behind it. So it looks like I'm seeing some wind now coming through the parking lot of this camera. So yeah, seeing now kind of the spray going through the lights there, and especially on the bottom left of the screen. So this is over in Oak Hill, and some gusty winds there crossing Franklin Road, heading up toward kind of the Harding Place exit on I-65, and looks like an area of maybe 58, 60 mile per hour winds, and maybe even a little bit higher. They're crossing Franklin Road, and this is a camera at Brentwood Hills Church looking back to the southwest on this Saturday night. So a lot of water on the road. Look at this. Just driving on a regular street, and there's just water sheeting down the asphalt there. As you see, it looks like they're driving through a river. They're at Church Street, Maryland Way, and Franklin Road, and I mean, it's there's just a lot of water heading downhill right now. So back over to the Oak Hill camera, and then I'll take you to radar in just a second. But it looks like the strongest winds now have crossed I-65 and are moving up toward the zoo. And so it looks like the strongest winds are going to be moving up toward Glencliff and the Seven Oaks area of Davidson County. I'll take you over to radar here in just a second. Let me go ahead and pull that up. I'll show you the velocities here. Weather Service radar has a good view of the storm. Here's your heaviest wind here, 60 mile per hour winds possible there. And on back down to the southwest, here's Radnor Lake and all the hills right there that we see across the street from our camera at Oak Hill are right here. So the winds kind of started here and kind of moved up to the northeast. So that's where the warning came from for these potentially 60 mile per hour wind gusts as they move northeast through Creve Hall and up toward the zoo and toward Glencliff and Seven Oaks and eventually B&A. So it didn't last long there at the Oak Hill camera. Still pouring down rain, but it looks like the winds have relaxed a little bit. And of course, still a lot of lightning as well. Let's go check back over at the Maryland Way camera again. This is kind of one we've been visiting a couple of times. But severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Davidson County. That's until 12:15. And it looks like the strong gusty winds, the strongest of the winds, are going to be up in Davidson County now. And the lightning is just really getting after it there in South Davidson. All right, so numerous flash flood warnings in effect as well. We'll go over and look at radar just a second. And numerous flash flood warnings in effect here. As we've been talking about, one of them now has the considerable wording in it for southern Davidson County, and there's my WEA alert. So you're probably getting that as well, and that's for a considerable tag that is being tagged on, I believe that's what that is, to the flash flood warning there in southern Davidson County and parts of Williamson County as well. So that is a serious situation up there, and if you are in any of the flood-prone areas, you just take the advice of authorities if they're there to help you get out. But just be very, very, very careful out there tonight. Strong winds now between Creve Hall, actually going through Creve Hall. A lot of big trees there in Creve Hall. And a lot of them have houses underneath them, so you don't want to be near the outside walls or anything like that in case a branch comes down or something. But strong winds also stretching up to the zoo and up to Glencliff. Let's see here. Weather Service says sizable area of 50 to 60 mile per hour winds on radar in South Nashville, damaging winds possible in addition to the ongoing flash flooding. And so that's definitely a threat out there right now. So you're looking here on the Weather Service radar of strong winds there going through Creve Hall and all the way up to the zoo and Glencliff, an area here stretching across Harding Place of some potentially, these are like 66 mile per hour winds up at about 800 feet. So definitely gusty winds possible right there in Davidson County. So that's going to be heading up toward B&A. In fact, it is right now. There's your updated radar view up toward B&A, Colonial Village, Donaldson. And the warning goes on up toward Hermitage, Tulip Grove, and Nashville Shores as you get up on toward Percy Priest Dam up there here in just a few minutes. Let's see here. Looking at your reports, just lost power over in Creve Hall, okay? So here's your Oak Hill camera. Creve Hall is just on the left side, kind of behind this camera here. So if you go behind this camera and go over the interstate, you're right there in Creve Hall. You can see it from this location, just behind the camera. So Creve Hall's lost power over there. At least somebody did over there. And so the winds are no joke. So these are reaching the ground over here in southern Davidson County. So you're looking at the camera there from Oak Hill. I'm looking over here at radar. Let me pull that back up for you. Large area now stretching from Seven Oaks all the way down to Creve Hall, all the way down to basically the Brentwood city limits. And that's going to be winds that are approaching 50, 60 miles per hour, and that's moving to the northeast. So those winds are no joke. We're hearing with that. Somebody reported that just a minute ago that lives in Creve Hall. And that's what we're looking at right now. Let's see here. Yeah, that looks about the only area of real strong winds that we have, and it's that area right there. And it's just a car wash out there. So lots and lots of water coming down, lots and lots of wind, and getting reports there. Getting reports there of the strong wind going through Creve Hall. Okay, I'm kind of looking at your reports over here. Let's back up here and take a look at a wide view. Let's go back to reflectivity on the radar. And let's take a look at this. And guys, I wish I had some better news. I really wish I had some better news. There's more rain coming in from the west, and this is kind of the the main line, I guess we should say. And let me pull over. I'm going to pull over kind of a regional radar view here for you, so that you can just kind of get a sense for what is going on. All right, here's kind of a regional radar view. Okay, so here's Nashville here. All right, and you kind of see this area of rain stretched from northeast down to southwest. That's kind of the main show. Okay, but it's not here yet. We've got these storms out ahead of it, and we just keep dealing with these storms over and over. And there's storms back to the west that we still got to deal with. All right, so that's where our big concern is these rains coming in from the west, and they're just, they're moving, but they're not flying through here. So let's see here. I'm going to go back to radar here, and let's check this out. So we want to pay attention to these winds over here, stretch from BNA all the way down to Creve Hall. Those winds were no joke. Somebody said, I think that's exactly the way they put it. They were no joke. Creve Hall, their radar is pinging 68 mile per hour winds. And that's over there near Danby Drive and Marchant, and over there near Hogan and Blackman Road and all those areas over there. And there's a lot of big trees. A lot of big trees around some houses around there. We hope no trees come down on houses over there in the Creve Hall neighborhood. We've seen that happen before. So you've got Creve Hall, you got Southern Hills Hospital. Your latest radar image shows maybe the strongest winds over there near Southern Hills Hospital, stretching up to Seven Oaks and B&A. So new flash flood warning coming out. That's going to be over far east of us. We're certainly have our fill of them around here right now. And so that's going to be far east of us. So right now we're just continuing to focus on this wind. This is the main threat right here as far as this actual cell, other than the rain, other than the flash flooding, which is a huge deal right now down in this exact area. This is where your main threat is. That's going to be with these strong winds. So we wonder if it looks like things have calmed down a little bit in Oak Hill. So that's good. Things have calmed down just a tad. Still a lot of lightning there, but a lot of water runoff happening. But let's go back over to the radar here. And again, we're kind of focusing on these greens and reds and blues. These are the winds. These are the velocities. And they're usually the reason we come on YouTube Live is to talk about these winds. And that's and that's why we're here right now, is this the strong gusty winds that's moving up toward Colonial Village, toward Donaldson, Nashville Shores, Hermitage, Peeler Park, Tulip Grove, and up toward Green Hill, eventually over there in Wilson County. And kind of back up in time here, and you can kind of see how that's moving. So kind of southwest to northeast. All right. So there's your strong winds. National Weather Service using pretty strong wording here. They say major flash flooding is ongoing in southern Davidson County and northern Williamson counties. Travel is not recommended. And absolutely, travel is not recommended at all. Please don't go out and travel tonight, and especially don't drive through any water. And that's going to be hard to do, to be honest with you, in southern Davidson County and northern Williamson County. That's going to be a tall order not to drive through water, because there's a lot of it. It looks like some hail around Brentwood right now, and it looks like the hail's going to be up here really around Edmondson Pike. And to be honest with you, I think they're having some flooding issues right here along Edmondson. This is right where 7 Mile Creek is. 7 Mile Creek is that creek that runs kind of near Ellington Agriculture Center on the Edmondson Pike side down at the bottom of the hill, and then runs up toward Blackman Road. And there's a gauge right there, and that gauge was just shooting through. By the feet. It just didn't take long, and it would rise a foot and rise a foot and rise a foot. So I think last I checked, it was 10 feet or a little bit higher. In fact, I can check that right here. 7 Mile Creek is now over 10 feet. So that's approaching, I think that's approaching moderate flood stage there. So 7 Mile Creek is definitely in flood stage there along Edmondson Pike right through here. So hail falling right there more than likely, or just did, and that could be up in the 1-inch variety, up in the quarter size hail. All right, so just I mean, you can't imagine much worse conditions out there if you're trying to escape those floodwaters. Be very, very careful, and it's just it's not very pleasant out there tonight. So still 60 mile per hour winds, 58 mile per hour winds possible. And those are moving to the northeast toward B&A. It looks like they might be relaxing a tad. Still blowing a lot. B&A down to the south, Seven Oaks, Glencliff, Southern Hills Hospital, Haywood Lane area. Could still be seeing 57, 58, 60 mile per hour winds. And there's kind of this large area here of some gusty winds. But it looks like they might be coming down just a tad. I'm going to watch a video here real quick over on your reports of some flooding over in Creve Hall. Yeah, it looks like some flooding running down a street there over in the Creve Hall area. So, man, a lot of water. Lots and lots of water up there. All right, severe thunderstorm warning continuing. The Weather Service is going to continue that severe thunderstorm warning here for Davidson and Williamson counties and on into Wilson County. And you can see back behind it, here's more rain coming in western Davidson County, southern Cheatham County, Dixon County, Hickman County, moving into West Williamson County. More rain coming in from the west. Strongest, heaviest rain right now is definitely in the Haywood Lane area, just east of Southern Hills Hospital along Harding Place. Right as you take Harding Place over there toward, or Bradley Parkway. Yeah, that's Harding Place. Yeah, that's Harding, and then keeps going over there to the east, and that's where where it joins up. You kind of go up toward the airport up there. So it's gnarly, and looks like quite a bit of hail there. Yeah, it looks like quite a bit of hail actually. So hail falling around Haywood Lane, and it looks like it could be wind-driven hail as well. It looks like it's pretty gusty winds there. It looks like floodwaters are threatening homes. We're getting reports of that around Holly Tree Gap Road, just west of Franklin Road. And that's kind of been the story. That has kind of been the story for this evening, unfortunately. All right, so let's back out and let's see so Williamson County is actually excluded from the warning now. Williamson County has the all clear from this particular storm, and I'm going to turn the flash flood warnings off for a second, just so you can see the severe thunderstorm warning there in Davidson County. Williamson County has now been excluded from that. It's moved out of Williamson County into Davidson County. Here's your strongest area of hail crossing I-24 right now in Antioch. And that's right near the Haywood Lane exit of I-24, stretching down toward Blue Hole Road. So really between the Blue Hole Road Bridge and up to Haywood Lane is where that hail is right now, moving on over toward Richards Road and the neighborhoods over there in Antioch. So definitely some hail falling there, I would say, and it looks like it's wind-driven hail too, unfortunately. So those winds could be blowing 65 miles per hour. And that is going to be pretty brutal as that hail comes through there, because it's going to be wind-driven hail. So it looks like a new flash flood warning coming out till 6 a.m., and that's going to be for Davidson, Robertson, Sumner, Trousdale, and Wilson. All right, so new flash flood warning coming out, and that's going to be up here. It's going to cover, basically there was a teeny, tiny little sliver of Davidson County that had not gotten a flash flood warning yet, and they just did. So new flash flood warning up for the far northern part of Davidson County. That's going to be in effect till 6 a.m. So we are all under the flash flood warnings at this point as these heavy rains move in. And we can expect flooding issues to get worse over the next little while. All right, so the main hail threat appears to be right around Richards Road in Antioch, and it could be quarter size pretty easily. could be quarter size up there in Antioch, and it could be wind-driven hail. So that could be blowing at about 60 miles per hour. Pretty vicious storm. So it's, if you got quarter size hail and 60 mile per hour winds, that's going to be pretty loud. So a lot of people probably waking up that were asleep over there in the neighborhoods there off Richards Road in Antioch. And it's pretty loud at the moment. I'm going to go look at TBNA and see what it's showing over here, and I'm not even going to pop it up. It's not showing anything too crazy. It's not at a great angle for the radar, so it'll have a little better read a little later, but it doesn't right now, so we'll stick with what we have here. And, winds may be relaxing just a tad over toward Una. As it crosses Murfreesboro Road here, the heaviest wind, that crosses Murfreesboro Road, Nashboro Golf Club, Una, over in those areas. And but boy, a lot of lightning. It's very, very electrical. But still the hail threat. Still looks like there's hail falling up there, crossing Murfreesboro Road in the Una area. And so wouldn't be surprised at all if that's in the quarter size category there. That wouldn't surprise me a bit. Seeing a lot of reports of flooded basements. Seeing a lot of... Let's see. Yeah. I haven't, let's see here. I'm kind of looking through reports. Yeah, I've seen a lot of flooded basements and even water approaching homes, that kind of thing. So that's no good. No good. We got a lot of rain coming in here. Still back to the west. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect, though, until that's going to be in effect until 12:15, so about another 5-7 minutes or something like that. And Weather Service says, unfortunately, additional heavy rainfall will move into the Nashville metro over the next couple of hours. All right, so let's turn reflectivity back on. In fact, I tell you what, let me go over here. We're going to look at the regional radar view again and do it that way. It's a little bit easier to see. So as we go over here and look at that, you can kind of tell here's Nashville here, here's Williamson County here, and you can see that the storms that we've been having coming through, and there's your storm moving through Antioch right now, and then back to the west you see the heavy rain coming back in. So we have more heavy rain coming in, and maybe even a little bit beyond that back in Arkansas, kind of a secondary line forming in the Boot Heel of Missouri. All right, so that's going to hang around a little while. So we've got some more rain coming in. And flash flood warnings in effect. So you need to get to higher ground if you're in a flood-prone area. And some people said, hey, what's a flood-prone area? If you're near a creek or a stream or a body of water that can come up quickly, and we've had these flash flooding events before, and you kind of know where those are. And if you have a creek in your backyard that comes up and floods your basement sometimes, if you have, just kind of throwing a couple things out here, but if you have an area that is susceptible to flash flooding, those are the types of areas that can come up, and they probably already have, but they could get worse over the next couple of hours as this additional rain comes in. All right, let's talk just a second about the warning. Again, it's in effect until 12:15, and that's going to be for this storm in eastern Davidson County, and it's for the possibility of 1-inch hail, 60 mile per hour winds, and so that's quarter size hail and 60 mile per hour winds, and that's not a good combination. That's not fun, but hail still looks like it's up. Still looks like we could have some hail falling, especially up here in the Percy Priest Lake neighborhoods on the western shore of Percy Priest Lake. And it looks like that winds could be blowing up there around 40-50 miles per hour on radar here. And that'd be loud and not a lot of fun. All right, so here's your newest radar scan. And yeah, it looks like some 40-50 mile per hour winds there, possible on the western shores of Old Hickory Lake, crossing Percy Priest Dam, or did I say Old Hickory Lake? Percy Priest Lake, Percy Priest Dam into Nashville Shores, and over there in the marina over there. So it's going to be pretty gross. I've gotten an unusual text from a friend this time of night who lives up in a flood-prone area, so I'm going to check this out and see what this is. And Looks like maybe some wind damage. It had some wind damage come through there. This is over from the Edmondson Pike area and had some strong winds come through, maybe some trees and stuff like that down, but it just littered the back porch, took all the patio furniture and everything, and just sent it in a different direction. Actually, there's water coming down through his yard too. So looks like he's saying their fences are destroyed. Our basement is very flooded. And so it's a mess over there. That's over near Edmondson Pike. So it is not good out there right now. This is your severe thunderstorm up toward the Hermitage area and Percy Priest Lake area. That's where it is. What's left of it is there and could still have some decent hail with it. And up there toward Nashville shores. But boy, the flash flooding is the real story. It's just like this friend was showing me. He lives over kind of in the Creve Hall, Edmondson Pike area, and his basement's flooded. Backyard is just a mess, and it's just it doesn't look good over there. All right, some more rain coming in from the west. We're going to watch this come in, see what it does. No doubt is going to raise the rivers and streams and the creeks even further. And I'm going to do another check over here on 7 Mile Creek. This is one place in particular that can flood pretty easily, and it already was in flood just a little bit ago, and it looks like it's on its way up to 12 feet. 7 Mile Creek looks like it's getting close to right at 12 feet. Now, 11 feet is moderate flood stage, 12 feet is the middle of moderate, and 13 hits major flood stage. All right. So let me just kind of read here. You're looking at radar there, but let me just read, see if there's any impacts there. Not really. But 11, so if the gauge is reading 12 feet, that's right in the middle of moderate flood stage. 13 feet would be major flood stage, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down on the gauge. So, mercy. There's a lot of homes around there. That's right around Blackman Road, Edmondson Pike, and then as you go up toward the Walmart there on, that's going to be up near Harding Place and Edmondson Pike. So it's going to be a mess up there on 7 Mile Creek, that's for sure. And that eventually runs over into Mill Creek, not too far from I-40 up there. All right, I'm going to turn the flash flood warnings off for a second. We have one severe thunderstorm warning remaining. That remains until 12:15, about another 2 minutes. We're going to see what the Weather Service does with that here in the next few minutes. They'll either need to, looks like they're going to expire that. So that severe thunderstorm warning is going away, and it should go away here in just a second. So that would be good news. That's one less thing on our plate for you folks dealing with the flooding up there in southern Davidson County. So, okay, well, this is going to be a big deal tonight, especially in southern Davidson County, northern Williamson County. You guys be safe out there. The severe thunderstorm warning has expired for southeastern and eastern Davidson County. That is going away. I'm going to switch over to another radar just to be sure. And sure enough, it's gone on that one. So and it's gone on our main one now too. So no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect currently for Davidson County, and no tornado or severe thunderstorm warnings in effect anywhere else in our two counties. We got a lot of flash flood warnings, and that's going to be the big deal over the next little while. You guys got to be careful, be safe. Don't get in a sticky flood situation, and be sure just to be very careful and get to high ground if you need to as safely as possible. Y'all have a good night.